Now, like I was telling y'all before, I'm not asking no judges to do anything outside of their duty or to do anything against the law. I'm not asking nobody to break the law. Following unconstitutional ways of thinking, unconstitutional case law, unconstitutional laws in general, is breaking the law. It's breaking the supreme law of the land. It's similar to what went down with Hitler. You know, Hitler was ordering people to follow his orders, and in the South during the Civil Rights Movement, you know, the state legislators was commanding the police to follow their laws, which was against blacks, and people followed them. They're unconstitutional ways of thinking. They're civil rights violating laws. People follow them. And this is what's going on now with a lot of these black judges and a lot of these new judges in general, even the white ones who say we want to help the blacks, we want to help the people in general. This is what's going on now. Even with the Congress people who say that blacks have been disproportionately targeted with certain laws. But all you got to do is what's within your duty, what's within your authority to do. And that's dismiss the case and send it back to the prosecutor to get it right. Now, by following those laws, you worse than the person who established those precedents. Because you know what's going on, yet you use the weak argument, well, I'm just following rules, but you know the rules is wrong. I'm just following these rules, and we just following with, but you're in a position to rectify those wrongs. That's like having a bunch of people down south, a bunch of black judges down south during the time when blacks wasn't allowed to drink out the same water fountains and shit, go to the same schools. You know, some people pass. I heard Martin Luther King say some judges pass injunctions against them and shit to slow them down and stop them, saying asking for equal rights was wrong. You know, I think he said that right before he was killed. But that's what's going on now. That's why I asked the judges to do it the way that I said do it. Because if you do it the way it's been being done for these past lot of years, then you will get the same results. But when you do things a little different, that's in the clear message to them. We don't tolerate this shit. We not gonna tolerate this shit. And we not no sellout ass house niggas who you could just bully whenever you want and get us to follow this shit. You know what I'm saying? Because we recognize what y'all people are doing as wrong. This is all I'm asking people to do. And this is all I'm asking the people in the hood to do. Performing a lawful citizen's arrest on corrupt police when you got bona fide direct evidence that these people was corrupt and committing felony acts is not against the law. But attacking somebody who's snitching and attacking somebody who's trying to crack down on them is against the law. These people will violate the law before they follow it. This is their psychology. All of them think alike. That's because they want to do things their way, the way that things have been being done for centuries. They're programmed by who we don't know. What we do know, it's a bunch of different factors that programmed them. But it'll take us too long to speak about all of them. So we sum it up. And the people get in these positions, they scream, when they run for office, they scream how bad they want to help the people, how bad they want to help the people, how bad they want to help the people. That's why I say you got to be a slave to all if you want to be the leader. You want to be a representative of the people, you got to be a slave to all. You got to work with the president to form a more better union. You don't beat him up and bash him, you work with him. This is how you beat people in politics. Has always been through reason. When you go and argue your case in front of that judge, you use reason. to beat them. You don't beat them with a fist. You beat them through reason, through your brain power, through your ability to effectively communicate your way of thinking, to effectively communicate the truth, the correct way of thinking. This is how you beat these people. But nobody wants to do that. Everybody wants to be fuck boys for the system, for the constituents, for the majority voters. You know. And they got in their head, you do the crime, you do the time. Nobody cares about a person who killed somebody, or a person who raped somebody, or a person who robbed somebody being deprived of constitutional rights. Nobody cares about that, because they, in their head, they say, well, he did it to this person, so now he's just getting karma or some shit. But in reality, that way of thinking continues to hurt others who are not engaged in their behaviors, because it has a ripple effect on others. So when they deprive that person who committed that robbery of his right to bear arms, when they deprive that person who committed that rape or that murder of their right to possess a weapon, they deprive the person who wrote a bad check, or the person who got DUIs, or the person who smoked drugs, smoked some weed and shit, or some crack, or did some heroin. They deprive them also. But when you have selective enforcement of the law, we know who will be disproportionately targeted, because they all admitted it. That, yes, blacks have been disproportionately targeted. You know what I mean? So it has a ripple effect on everyone. Even the person who committed a crime as a child. Why don't the blacks stand up and say, enough is enough? We're tired of this. We're not fuckboys. We're not slaves. We follow the Constitution only. And if your constituents can't respect that, then your constituents ain't shit. Then you beat your constituents with reason. We don't have to sneak in this and this. Like they get at people. Like I read, they had a 1,000-page thing about border security or some shit. Man, who the fuck gonna read all 1,000 pages in 24 hours? Nobody. Who gonna read 1,000 pages in 1 week? Nobody, because you got a bunch of other shit to do also. So you're not about to read that 1,100-page shit. That's like reading the book Atlas Shrugged in 4 days. And when you got a busy schedule, you gotta take care of your kids. You gotta do other shit. You gotta eat, sleep, wash your ass and everything, clean your. You gotta do all this other shit. So nobody got time to read that shit. You know what I'm saying? So what they do is they say, okay, we'll give you A, but we gonna sneak in B. Ain't nobody doing that shit. We just flat out stating you ain't getting A, and we still go get B because B is constitutional. And this is the only way y'all got to think. Nobody asking niggas to be sellouts. Nobody asking niggas to be gangster. Nobody asking niggas to be rebellious, defiant. People are just asking people to follow the Constitution. That's all I'm asking, for people to follow the Constitution as it was meant to be followed. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm asking, cats. So when you got people trying to get work, being deprived of their right to work, then that just show, like, you could take a stand against that. And if you take a stand, the way I say take a stand, it'll have an effect on all of them issues that's affecting all communities. Nobody's saying that a person who commit those acts should be set free. But we saying that person should be given a reasonable prison sentence. And what's reasonable? Reasonable is what the Constitution dictates. If you sentence a person to 1,000 years, 100 years, 50 years, 60, whatever. That's a life sentence without the life sentence specification. That's saying a person gonna spend the rest of their life in prison. So you gotta undo that shit. Y'all gotta take a stand. You know what I mean? You gotta take a stand. When them people fought in them civil rights movements, they did not, march because they knew they was gonna be safe. They took a stand for what was right, knowing that they was gonna expose themselves to danger and expose themselves to people who don't see things the way that they see things. Yet they still did it because they felt what they was doing was right. Now, that's why I wouldn't ask people, if you honestly believe it in your heart that those sentences are unconstitutional, to do it the way that I asked to do it. Not to be a smart ass, not to fight people, not to be rebellious or defiant, but to be an upstanding, law-abiding office holder in this country. And that's just what we do. That's just what we advocate. That's just what we promote. You know what I'm saying? I don't do this shit. Well, I do this shit because I plan on running for president. So I see things that's going wrong. It's like the offensive coordinator up in the box watching the game. He see where the weakness is in the defense at, and he calling down to the field, telling the quarterback and the coach, hit him here, because this where they weak at. Hit him here. You know what I'm saying? That's what niggas do. That's what I do. Because I know where they weak at. I know where they can't beat y'all at. But if you play the same game and the same trends that been set and followed, then nigga, that's that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I read something the other day. They said they had the one congresswoman, they said they had that Kamala Harris. She was cheating on her husband with a mayor and shit. Like, we don't do things like that. We don't need to show that we all are similar in that manner. We can show that we all are similar by asking people to treat us the way that they would want to be treated. By treating people the way that we want to be treated. That's how we show that we all similar. We don't need to make asses out of ourselves and engage in perverse behaviors just to be relatable to a crowd. No, we don't do that. We treat people the way we would want to be treated. That's how we really show people we all are equal. We all are similar.